go because you know what I came here to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
And a big up COPN09 always brings up great points. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Ben meant to be nothing more than a face for Sky? / boxer, effectively, a silent partner. I guess with no Adam Smith, he's got no choice but to be a front man. Ben never goes a week without talking these days.
Eddie will talk about us and talk about what he wants, and we all know that, you know, Eddie will always turn up for interviews and everything else. And I think maybe, you know, rounding it off, going back to sort of Ben and Boxer, and they'll sit back a bit and they'll talk when they need to, and fighters do the talking. And believe me, there's enough characters in this.
Got big up Coppin. He was right. All that Ben's gonna sit back and talk when he needs to, and let the fighters do the talking. Pie in the sky. How long did that last? Especially when Adam left.
All in the video, all on the record.
There are no successful boxing promoters, old school, new school, who haven't had to put themselves in the front line. You can say Al Heyman, and okay, but technically, and more importantly, the paperwork doesn't say that he's a promoter. You go look at Mayweather's blockbuster pay-per-view events. Al Heyman ain't on there. It's either Leonard Ellaby or Mayweather Promotions. Ben's in one lawsuit with Eddie Hearn over Lawrence Okoli. Ben threatened another lawsuit just the other day, defamation case against Eddie. He's having to answer questions about the Amir Khan situation. You won't get that opportunity to sit back, as Adam Smith was saying. No way. Too much sharks in these waters for that. And as for you're going to let the boxers talk for themselves, what, Lawrence Okoli and Joshua Boatzy? It's not going to work. You're going to have to step up front and promote. Earn your money. P.T. Barnum, Don King, Eddie Hearn. Coppin09, he came back and said, that sparring footage kind of backs up what I believe. AJ privately would rather be a boxer than a slugger. Do you agree? Liam Smith is suggesting that the rematch with Chris Eubank is back on in June. But regardless if it doesn't happen, he's going to be fighting. Now in the interview I saw, he was kind of mad with his team and perhaps Ben Shalom, because it looks like they were making him wait around for the Eubank fight. And he's a proud guy. He doesn't want to leave people with the impression that he's waiting around for the Eubank payday. He believes that he can go on and cut out his own niche without Eubank. But the supposed or a proposed Tim Tszyu fight was on the table. That's since disappeared. Tszyu said he was going to fight Michael Zarafa. Zarafa is outpricing himself. The thing is though, Eubank hasn't said anything, so he's obviously reluctant to take the fight. He was going to fight Conor Benn in Abu Dhabi, regardless of whatever issues Conor had. But the board have made it a little difficult. I don't think Eubank wants to travel out there and fight and then be in a struggle to get his British license back. I don't think he wants to do that. And then if Conor goes out there, just reading the article, Tony Sims will also risk his license as well as a trainer, his British license. So that fight, I don't believe is happening. And who is Eddie going to get Conor to fight if he fights in Abu Dhabi? They might have to get a foreign export, an American opponent, etc., etc., where fighting in the UK is not in their immediate plans. That's the route they'll have to go. That could limit Conor. That's what I was thinking, and then I stumbled on this article in Boxing Social, and Manny Pacquiao is waiting for the phone call. 13th of April, Manny Pacquiao still waiting for the phone call. So that could be the fight for Conor to come back. And Manny Pacquiao being deep into his 40s, I don't think he's concerned about fighting in the UK right now. Let Manny get the payday, and we could have a fight. So I guess most of you have seen or read that Anthony Joshua says his next fight is scheduled for December, when previously he was supposed to fight 3 times this year. He's going to have another fight in July. He just got the Franklin fight out of the way the other week. So he said scheduled for December, not ideal, but everything is part of a bigger picture, he adds. Now I'm focusing on the last 3 words, a bigger picture. I don't believe he sits it out until December to fight Dillian Whyte, because a lot of people don't want that fight, including me. I don't believe so. They're also talking about some tournament in Saudi Arabia where he takes on Deontay Wilder and Fury takes on USYK. I mean, if they pull a card like that off, or if it's on, let's say, 3 separate cards, because basically you're getting the first place final, undisputed between Fury and USYK, and then you're getting the semi-final to face the winner. So that'll be 3 cards. If they pull a 3 cards like that, they are firmly in the driving seat, controlling boxing. Although they're saying that Tyson Fury will be back out this summer, Andy Ruiz and Joe Joyce are the touted opponents. Well, if Joe Joyce is fighting ZHANG this Saturday, when we're talking about summer that he's going to fight Fury, like, you've got to take in consideration that he doesn't blow ZHANG away in 3 or 4 rounds. And if it's a relatively competitive, let's say, tough fight, he's not going back out there, straight back into a training camp for Fury in June or July. No way. And for those of you who are saying, yes, he will, stop it. Stop it. The modern day fighters, despite all their strength, conditioning, and high-tech training advancements, nutritionists on deck, at this level here, unless they're journeymen, they don't fight as frequently as that. It's as simple as that. So with that said, Andy Ruiz could well be a favourite to get that fight. I mean, where's he ranked? He's number 2 with the WBC. But I'm really looking forward to this fight. FRANCHON CRUZ will defend the undisputed 168-pound titles against SAVANNAH Marshall in the UK in June on Sky Sports. That's huge. That's huge. SAVANNAH Marshall. She didn't get the immediate rematch with Claressa Shields, but she does have somewhat of an opportunity to redeem herself. She hasn't had no warm-up fight since losing a WBO 160-pound title to Claressa Shields in October of last year. I did see FRANCHON CRUZ's last fight. It was on the DAZN card. It was on the undercard of Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. And she had a very tough outing against Ellen Zedelus. Fight went the limit, and it was a good fight. FRANCHON CRUZ, she herself, I believe, her and Claressa Shields were debutantes when they fought as a pro. And she lost the decision to Claressa. I'm not going to try and break down this one as yet. I would say this should, on paper, be an easier fight for SAVANNAH. When I say easier, a less complex fight than the Claressa Shields fight. And if she's going to redeem herself, this is a great opportunity. FRANCHON CRUZ, 35 years of age, 8 wins, 2 inside the distance, 1 loss, and that's to Claressa Shields, 5'8", 72-inch reach. Currently campaigning at 168, where she is undisputed champion. SAVANNAH Marshall, 31 years of age, 5'11", 12 wins, 10 inside the distance. It's a very impressive knockout ratio for a female boxer. 1 loss to Claressa Shields. She currently has no straps. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
When we spoke a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Denzel's fight with Janibek, a fight with which he received a lot of plaudits. He performed very well in that world title fight. And you said something to me, which I don't know if Denzel will agree with or not. You said that you believe that Janibek performed within himself and perhaps held back a bit so he could entice bigger names to the table. Do you still believe that?
I think, yeah, I believe that Janibek performed within himself so that he can get big fights. If you look at a lot of these Eastern European fighters, they do the same thing.
You see, this is the problem with British fights like KIERAN. KIERAN believes that the Eastern European fighters, perhaps the Mexicans, the American fighters, are extraterrestrial, superhuman-like fighters. And they build them up in their mind to be so unbeatable, there's no way they're going to beat the top Americans, the top Mexicans, the top Eastern Europeans. They're not going to beat them, because if he really believes that Janibek fought below his best deliberately to entice the bigger names against Denzel Bentley, he's deluded, you know. And if Janibek did do that, it's an epic fail, because it hasn't worked. And I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to call Janibek a hype job, but he was never this killer that a lot of people, the media and the fan base, was claiming he was. He was never that killer. And Denzel showed us that. You know, if you was to ask KIERAN, oh, is that why USYK didn't look great against Chaz Witherspoon and Derek Chisora, so he could trick AJ into a false sense of security? He'd say yes. He would say yes, because he's not, like, let's not insult KIERAN. You know, it doesn't sound too clever. And yeah, if that's what Janibek tried, it's an epic fail, because his next opponent is Stephen Butler. And when that was announced, there was an underwhelming response of disappointment on finding out that's who he's fighting next. So no. It must be difficult being an undefeated fighter, losing your O to someone you said didn't have power. Must be pretty difficult. But then again, it was YOSHINO who made a big deal about being mentally stronger and hitting harder than Shakur Stevenson. And come fight time, none of that played out to be true. He said he didn't feel the power, but with the second knockdown, he was hurt. He was definitely hurt. He said he disagrees with the stoppage, but I didn't see him vociferously protest the stoppage, if at all. The truth is, Shakur hurt this guy to the head and the body, and while he could have carried on, it's up to the referee to look out for this guy's health because he's taking unanswered punches. And it's likely he would have went down again, maybe a couple more times, and the referee stepping in the 6th round just delayed the inevitable, in all truth. He wasn't equipped or skilled enough, or tough enough if he wants to bring toughness, mental toughness or whatever into it, to survive the distance with Shakur. Now, it might hurt him to hear that, but that's the truth. And it's the truth that will set you free and acknowledge you was beaten by the better fighter and stopped legitimately. If you can acknowledge that, you may have a chance of doing something in the game as long as they don't make you fight Shakur again. Yo, it looks like Big Fraze has talked himself into a title shot. Yeah, the British title that Fabio Wardley owns. The British Boxing Board of Control have now ordered Fabio Wardley to defend his British heavyweight title versus Frazer Clarke. Purse bids May the 10th. Now, the purse bids for this is going to be very interesting because we've got Eddie going up against Ben Shalom with that third-party checkbook. How much are either prepared to put out to obtain this fight? Now, it could get stupid because this ain't a pay-per-view fight by any means. But if it gets into an ego thing, like, I don't want to be looking like I ain't backing my guy from either promoter, we could see an actually inflated number that doesn't necessarily reflect the value of the fight. The stewards decided to put the above contest to purse bids to be submitted in accordance with the terms and conditions to the board's head office by 12 noon on Wednesday the 10th of May, and the contest to take place by the end of September. British heavyweight title warming up. That's all I've got to say right now. Judging by this tweet, David ADELEYE wasn't too happy. You know, him turning up to the AJ Franklin press conference to confront Wardley about wanting the fight next, and he's saying now that it's all about favourites. And queue jumping. I can't wait around months and possibly next year for the British title. It doesn't make sense. They can keep the belt. I'll go down a different route. Fabio Wardley, he responded, it seems your little press conference stunt did fuck all. And David replied, it did, because we know you didn't really want it, you bitch. Come of it, David. He was focusing on Michael Coffey. You know, he's focusing on that, and you busted in when he's focusing in on a fight. It was liberties you were taking, really. I give you your due for trying to get your name out there, but you're taking liberties, really. I think David's overreacting. You know, with Fraze being a bronze medalist in the Olympics on what I would say is the bigger platform in Sky over BT. Maybe not bigger with what Tyson Fury is doing over there, but definitely the better, more consistent platform. They've got one opponent in common, and that's Sokolowski, who Fraze, the decision wasn't in no doubt. He didn't look great, but in my opinion, Sokolowski beat David. David said he's going to go his own way and bypass the title. Well, what does that mean? He's not exactly ready to fight top 10 opponents, is he? Or top 15? I wouldn't have thought yet. Frazer Clarke, 6 wins, no defeats, no draws, obviously, and 5 inside the distance. David ADELEYE, 11 wins, 10 inside the distance. I can see why he's hard done by in saying that then. You know, he's had nearly twice the amount of fights. Let's not beat around the bush. The board are not going to, in this situation where neither man has done that much, pick the guy with less commercial value. They're just not, right? And it's funny, right? All 3 fighters who have been nominated to get this British title fight, and that includes Solomon Dakers. That includes him. Solomon is now 6-0 with 2 inside the distance. They've all got Sokolowski on their record. Now, Solomon Dakers did a better job than ADELEYE and Frazer Clarke. He shut him out 78-74 and didn't look bad doing it. He didn't look bad doing it. Like I'm saying, ADELEYE is not ready to fight top 15 opponent. He's not ready for that. He's still at domestic level. DACRES has the English belt. There's not going to be a bigger voluntary or mandatory than David ADELEYE. If Solomon calls him out and David responds, we have a great English title fight as well as a very good British title fight. Who don't want to see Solomon DACRES versus David ADELEYE? I don't want to hear, well, one's with Frank Warren and one's with Eddie Hearn. It's an easy fight to make. That's an easy fight. Big heavyweight contest this side of the pond Saturday. JOYCE versus ZHILEI. JOYCE 15-0, 14 inside the distance, no reverses. ZHILEI 24-1 and 1 draw, 19 inside the distance. He is 39 years of age, from China, 6'6". His reach is not registered. JOYCE, 37 years of age, not much younger actually. He's 6'6" too, with an 80-inch reach. Now, Joe trades on his toughness, so to speak, without sounding too cliched, on his iron jaw. And, of course, that could go pear-shaped at any time. You know, defense is better than relying on an iron jaw. But if his chin holds up and he can withstand a potential quick start from ZHANG does start quick. I expect him to get ZHANG and his old rusty gas tank out of there in between 8 and 10. ZHANG is game, but in the late rounds, he looked very vulnerable against Hrgović. Hrgović just looked like ass and he couldn't take advantage of it. Joe has to watch out for that backhand, though. Has some serious pop in it from ZHANG. A lot of people are pulling for the upset. That's what I've seen online. A lot of people are pulling for the upset here. I hope you're not thinking I believe JOYCE will just hang his chin out, though. No. I expect him to box behind his jab. He does have better feet than ZHANG, quicker feet, and he should be using them to his advantage. Better feet, better gas tank, JOYCE between 8 and 10. At the open workout, a few people commented that Joe looked a little leaner, so it looks like he's actually training for a bit of extra speed, and that would make sense to me. It would say, don't get gassed up. Yeah, Joe got iron chin, man. Got an iron chin. Nah, bro. I mean, use that as the backup drive on your laptop or your PC. Let your legs do some of the work. Why not? Tire out the old guy late rounds, then you can start trading bombs with ZHANG as the old legs start to gas, and just make the fight easier. Now, both men are Olympians, and I'm expecting some thought behind their boxing, not just brawn. And I don't expect Joe just to hang his chin out there. I don't. I expect Joe to use his better foot speed. He does have better foot speed than ZHANG. The better gas tank. Wait until them old legs give out on ZHANG. I think they will. Then it would be safer for Joe to trade shots and try and get ZHANG out of there. So I expect some thought to go into it. If not, yeah, he could lose. Joe's the favorite, but there's a considerable demographic who are pulling for an upset. Yeah, it could happen if he doesn't box to instruction. Forget all this iron jaw shit. Got to use your brain in there. I saw some people commenting on the open workout that he looked a little lighter and leaner, Joe. So perhaps that's what he's training for. Speed. ZHANG came in at 19 stone 12, 278, which is 35 pounds approximately heavier than he was for Hrgović. JOYCE, he's roughly, about a quarter pound heavier than he was against Parker. 255, 18 stone 4. So what's the rationale behind ZHANG coming in so heavy? He probably thinks Joe is going to stand right in front of him and try and walk him down. Either that or he just didn't bother training that hard. That's a career heaviest. Apparently he had some condition when he fought Jerry Forrest where he flagged down the stretch and Jerry pulled back a majority draw. Hrgović, he flagged down the stretch again. Maybe they're just gambling on an early finish. They know his stamina isn't going to improve much down the stretch. So they're just going to bank on the weight advantage, either increasing his punching power or hoping it will enable him to push JOYCE back up close. Nothing changed for me. JOYCE with inside 8 or 10. Eddie Hearn has a game plan for Edgar Berlanga, obviously. And to find out that he's fighting Jason Quigley, who didn't exactly move the needle at 160, let alone 168. You know, in 2021 he was destroyed by Andrade in 2. In 2019 he was stopped by Terreno Johnson. Now it's at the MSG, 24th of June. Looks like Edgar will be headlining the card. He's quite popular in New York. And giving him an opponent like Quigley at 168. Obviously they're trying to get a highlight reel knockout, stoppage. And they're basically going to fatten up Edgar until the Canelo fight comes around, because it's a huge, huge fight. Puerto Rico versus Mexico, that'd be a massive fight. It will not please the David Benavidez fan club, who swear blind that David is the best contender ever. You know, like done everything he could to secure big fights. It won't please them, but they're definitely fatting up Berlanga as a potential opponent for Canelo. Although your man Bivol is trying to use his leverage because he's got the W over Canelo. He wants to fight Canelo at 168 so he can become undisputed champion at super middle. And the way he's talking, he don't want to give Canelo a say whether it's going to be at 168 and 175, although in theory, Canelo should be happy it's at 168. Because in theory, Bivol will have to lose a considerable amount of weight to make the fight. And Canelo, you know, although very strong and solid, he's not a natural 175 pounder. So Canelo has options. He has options. That's if he gets past Ryder, which we're assuming he will. But if he gets past Ryder, there's the Benavidez fight, there's the Bivol fight, and if they can make Edgar an attraction, keep him busy, few knockouts, he could be an option too.
Loud J5, it ain't as easy as it seems. Delirious on the track. I said, we might as well do it again. Turn this collaboration to a classic. Yeah. You know the time wasn't begging me, but it's great to be free. Fuck a 5 by 9, I got some places to be. Usually carry something that'll turn your face to debris. You got no clue what it takes to be me. These motherfuckers want the ball, I'm in the game, so it's easy to see now. Ain't the way that you ball or you fall, it's the rebound. A lot of niggas holding them burners just to beat down. Treat you like me at the bar, give you a free round. That's all they really respect these days. This paper, this work, these K's. Time flies, but a prison sentence can freeze days. A lot of niggas killing shit just to appease bays, but not me. I move out to make dough grow. They usually determine which direction the hoe go. I'm about to quit the game, trademark me a logo, and just sit back and eat good on my slow flow. Motherfuckers asking me, Feeve, you back now, nigga? I never left the judge, but me in the background. Came home, half of these niggas on crack now. Every other cat on every block rap now. And that's cool, the game is flooded, so I'ma chill when my chain is studded. See, the whole rap game is gutted. Nah, I said that it's dead now, but I gotta disagree with that. It's just about that bread now. Even though I don't like that shit on the radio, the underground is heavy though. I got a heavy flow, so nigga know if you lightweight and I apply pressure, you might break. It's like when a fight break. A lot of little niggas just gather around, ain't got shit to do with it. They just glad to be down. Why you had to be found the wrong place at the wrong time? Damn, I know heaven must got a long line, got a strong mind, they ain't taking me out. We gon' have it on lock until we saying we out. And a lot of y'all won't believe, till they tryna force air in your lungs and they won't receive it. That's life, guns blast out. These niggas beating a dead horse, Feeve just milking a cash cow. Build up a lead, then walk for the last mile. A lot of y'all lyrics should be in the trash pile, but I ain't criticizing my flow, it speak for itself, so it's legitimizing shit that I say. Got a seldom used clip that I spray, got it with me today. So right where you tell shit you can lay, it's like a job to keep these little niggas in check. Cause if you let them get out of line, that nigga's a threat. How you think Billy Blanco fuck around and rock Lido? Left his ass laying in the fetal. There's a message in every story, gotta weed it out. These niggas talking like they brain don't lead they mouth. One morning trying to leave they house, they get caught, left laying there bleeding out. That's a lesson, your mouth is something you should keep closed. Cause niggas fire shots as calm as free throws. Yeah, delirious on the track. Loud J5, Uptown Philly, and we back. I say it only get easier from here. We gonna take it to the next level, one. I know they thought it was over, a one-time thing. It's going down.